Shortly, the Deputy Chancellor, Ms Elizabeth Crouch, accompanied by the academic procession, will enter the graduation hall. As they're taking their position on stage, Advance Australia Fair will be played, and we invite you to join in the singing of the National Anthem. Would you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Puji Mulinawul Midiga Nalawa. Good morning and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the University for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you here this morning. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family actually descend from Yarramundi, respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. And so he enrolled his daughter, Bulgari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure for a time some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here this morning. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement, our advancement. That was probably better understood in traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he encountered a people whom he described as one of the happiest people he had ever met. They owned nothing but the tools they carried, made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. Now, these were not primitive societies, these were ancient cultures. There was no rich and poor, no slavery, no rents or mortgages, no jails, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources which were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in their natural state with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So remember, this is not a dream or an ideal. This was normal life, and for the longest time, and only very recently has things changed. So I don't see there is any reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us, but we're a clever people, and there's still much magic in the world, I believe. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is good, and we are normally a very happy people. Just share your gifts with the rest of us and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. And I'm confident that together we can put together a country and a world that we can be proud of, and a future that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine by winding up now and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you and welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, Elizabeth Crouch.
Thank you, Chris Tobin, for that very warm welcome to country. He keeps moving around on me, so he's over there now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, graduands, welcome. First, I want to thank all of you for coming. A graduation ceremony is an important celebration of achievement, the achievements of our graduands, and I might say also of the university. So I'm very grateful that you're all here to join us in celebrating one of life's most important milestone events. I also want to especially thank those of you who have brought children with you. It's good for them to be here because their memories of today and the importance of today may one day be the thing that inspires them to emulate the success of today's graduates. And their presence is also good for us because every celebration is enhanced by the presence of children. Now, as a parent, I know it may be difficult at times for little ones to stay quiet or still for the duration of our ceremony. It's a big ask. I don't expect them to or want them to, and I don't want you to worry if they don't. They are most welcome, and please let them run around and make as much commotion as they like. Now, the most important thing today is that our graduands have a great day. Graduands, I hope this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for you all. You deserve to take pride, great pride in your graduation. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance. You need to make many sacrifices. But that hard work has paid off, and I congratulate each of you on your achievements. I also want to congratulate all of you who are here as the guests of our graduates, because you've all done well too. The very fact that you are here and have been invited by one of our graduates to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been an important influence in the successes that we celebrate today. And I don't want you to think that observing today's graduation is the end of your role. I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduates are too modest to proclaim their success, I want you to make sure you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduates are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Macquarie, by comparison, is relatively young, celebrating our 50-year jubilee in 2014. We proudly take our name from Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. We learnt at school that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. It was the ethos he established, much to the annoyance of the British authorities, of an egalitarian society. Because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling colony there be no distinction between the free and the freed, which is the foundation of the modern Australian notion of a fair go for all. And it is that legacy that we here at Macquarie strive to maintain and honour. After our first 54 years, we now have more than 184,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 140 countries. Macquarie is now a very modern and outward-looking university. We are ranked at the top 2% of the world's universities. And from our beginnings, we defied the traditional boundaries of academia to achieve outstanding success. We have pioneered and continue to pioneer learning and teaching approaches that challenge conventions and shift thinking. Our students play a major role in their own learning and are empowered to guide what and how they learn. And we are also research pioneers at Macquarie. Our framework for the future, world-leading research with world-changing impact, is brought to life by renowned researchers whose bold and innovative solutions to issues of global significance are of enormous benefit to the world we live in. And that, by the way, is not an idle boast. Did you know that a significant part of the development of Wi-Fi was completed by Macquarie University engineers and scientists in conjunction with scientists from the CSIRO? And the research that is currently underway at Macquarie is no less significant. I'm sure you'll be aware of the very recent death of Professor Stephen Hawking, a brilliant scientist and a marvellous and inspiring man. The disease he fought most of his life was motor neurone disease. I'm proud to say that our own Faculty of Medicine and Health Science is at the forefront. Indeed, I think it's fair to say we're the Australian leader in helping to find a cure for that dreadful disease. We also have researchers working on innovative solutions to prevent shark attacks on surfers, a topical subject at the moment. In the Arts Faculty, our researchers are analysing laws in Pacific Island states that impact on women's economic participation. We also have researchers in the arts using CT scanners to reveal even greater knowledge about Egyptian mummies. In fact, we have countless research projects underway, all of which have enormous potential to add to the world's knowledge and well-being. We are also proud of some of our new or relatively new facilities, including the Australian Hearing Hub our library and our hospital. We are the only university in Australia which owns and operates its own hospital. But we have a lot more to do to make sure that our facilities are fit for purpose and are cutting edge. That's why when you arrived today, you may have thought for a moment that you were visiting a building site. The big hole in the ground outside just behind me is the site of our new central courtyard, which will house new food and beverage facilities, other social and study areas, as well as on-campus student accommodation. A little further away, we have our arts faculty building, one of our oldest in fact, which has been completely gutted and will be replaced by a new arts precinct, which will also include new spaces for our superb museums and galleries. So we're looking forward and we're on the move. Here at Macquarie, we have a very clear and straightforward mission, and that mission is to transform people's lives and improve the lives not just of our own students, but also of people all around the globe by the work and achievements of our graduates and by the fruit of our research. We want Macquarie to always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University alumni. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker today, Jane Caro. Jane will be well known to you and is a social commentator, writer and lecturer based in Australia. We're pleased to claim her as our own, having attended Macquarie University here, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in English Literature in 1977. Jane, following her father's lead, started a career in marketing, however soon moved into advertising. She has appeared on Channel 7's Sunrise, ABC Television's Q&A, and is a regular panellist on the Gruen Transfer. Jane has worked in the advertising industry and lectures in advertising at the School of Humanities and Communication Arts at the University of Western Sydney. She was also a speaker at the 2014 Festival of Dangerous Ideas and is on the board of the New South Wales Public Education Foundation and Bell Shakespeare. It is with great pleasure that I now introduce Jane to deliver our occasional address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jane Caro.
I am appallingly short. I hope I don't appear to you as a talking hairdo. My apologies if I do. I have my phone with me just so that I know I won't go over time. It is so exciting for me to have been asked to come and speak to you at this very auspicious occasion, because probably almost exactly 40 years ago today, I was sitting where you are, about to leave university. And I have to tell you that my 3 years at Macquarie University, yes, you could do a degree in 3 years back then. And it was free. Apologies, my generation have a lot to answer for. You could do a degree. My 3 years at Macquarie University were amongst the most wonderful, exciting, hilarious and fun of my entire life. I look back on my time at university with enormous fondness. I still have a lot of friends who I went to university with, and, you know, it just is full of wonderful memories for me. Now, sadly, not many of those memories are of the academic work that I did. No, most of those memories are around a dramatic endeavour, shall I say. 1975 and 1976 were the years of the Ancient History Review at Macquarie University. And I was joined on stage, as I am today, by all sorts of people, but two of them are in fact here in your faculty, Tom Hillard and Chris Forbes. I don't remember what Tom played. He can tell you, you can ask him later. I played, among other roles, the Queen of Sodom and Gomorrah. So that may give you an idea of what this review is like. Chris Forbes played Primal Man. which I'm sure you would agree he's been demonstrating ability at ever since. But that was so much fun and I learnt such an enormous amount. But when I sat in your seat, waiting to leave, part of the downside of having enjoyed my university experience as much as I did, and it wasn't just about the reviews, it was about debates in the union and, you know, arguing politics and, you know, all the wonderful things that university enables people to do when you're with groups of like-minded people. Reading books I never otherwise would have read, you know, things like that. Of course, it involved all of that. But one of the downsides of loving my university life as much as I did was when I sat in your seat, I wasn't looking forward. I was terrified. And I'm not exaggerating, I was scared to death. Because I was used to learning. I'd been at school and then I'd gone to university. I knew how to do that. Now, I was so skilled I could do it with the basic minimum effort. By that stage, I could just get through, you know, the night before. It's a good thing about an English literature where you major in creative writing. Just word to the wise if you're thinking of going to university. Anyway, but I knew how to do it. I knew what it felt like, I knew what it was about, and I knew what was wanted, and I knew how to deliver it. What I didn't understand was what the world of work would be like. And I had ambitions, but I didn't feel entitled to those ambitions. I didn't feel I had a right to aspire to the sorts of things that secretly in my heart of hearts I hoped I'd do. I wanted to write books, I wanted to write novels, I wanted to make a difference, I wanted to make an impact. But I had absolutely no idea how I was going to go about doing that. And so I sat here really wishing that I could stay. Now, many of you will be dying to get out that door, I understand. You're more confident than I was. But I bet there are still some people who face the idea of leaving university, leaving the world of learning, which we know so well, because we're so fortunate in the West to get that opportunity to learn, you know, for close to 20 years often, that face it with trepidation. And when I went out into the world of work, it wasn't helped by the fact that I constantly felt like everybody else knew something I didn't know, that there was some secret about how you did stuff that I just didn't know. And I didn't know how to ask anyone, what's this thing I don't know that everybody else seems to know? Because that's a kind of weird question. I mean, how do you answer that? So I didn't ask. I just went around feeling inadequate, that I wasn't quite as good as everybody else around me. But as time went on, and as I suffered blows, I was retrenched from a job at a very prestigious advertising agency as a copywriter when I was 4 months pregnant. That was fun. So I remember saying to my boss at the time, you've just fired the only person in the place who can't get another job. And actually, I did end up getting another job eventually, but 5 years later. So I had lots of experiences. And the thing that I learnt as I came up against the hard edges of life was that I was stronger than I thought I was. That I could survive things I doubted I could survive. Because, perhaps like some of you, I came from a very privileged background. I was, you know, white. I had highly educated parents. We had plenty of money. You know, I had everything. And I think maybe one of the disadvantages of that is you kind of secretly know that you've never really been tested. And you wonder, if I get tested, am I strong enough? Can I cope? As it turned out, I was. And it is my experience that almost everybody is. I also discovered that that secret I thought that everybody knew doesn't exist. The secret is there is no secret. Nobody knows about how to live life more than you do. Certainly not how to live your life. You're the only person who knows how to do that. And the major thing that I learnt as I battled my way through what remains a male-dominated working world was that I needed to be just who I was. I think when I sat 40 years ago, I was wondering, I didn't articulate this, I couldn't have put it into words, but I think perhaps it was at the basis of my feeling of terror. I didn't know who the world wanted me to be, and I was trying to be what I thought the world wanted me to be. And that was the wrong way to approach life, certainly for me. What I have found, in fact, is that the way to approach life, for me, was to be entirely who I am. And in fact, that it is perfectly fine to have strong, contrary opinions. I know this may shock you, but I have some of those. And it is not only fine to have them, it turns out not only to be fine to express them, but I'm here to give you some very good news. There's a career there. Who knew you could find a career by just saying what you think? Which is great for me, because that's how I've done it. But it is also sad for our society, because actually there shouldn't be a career in saying what you think. It shouldn't be so rare that people regard it as refreshing, which is often a comment I get at the end of the speech. Maybe that's like interesting, they're just desperately searching for something nice to say, I'm not sure. But refreshing is often the word I get in response. And I think that that is about the fact that a lot of us are still worried that if we say exactly what we think, the world won't approve of us. I'm here to tell you some of the world won't approve of you. But actually, most of the world will. Most of the world will be interested. You'll help make the world think a bit harder, and we could use some of that. I don't know if you've looked around you lately at the people who are in charge of the world, but I think a little extra thinking on their part wouldn't go astray. And I would encourage you to go out there and be exactly who you are, warts and all. Your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, your failings are the most interesting part of you. And I'm here to tell you too, they really add to your popularity. We like people for their weaknesses. It's their strengths we can't stand. So don't try to improve. Just be your flawed self, because people like you a lot more for those. I learnt that as well. The last piece of advice I will leave you with is one I bore my children with constantly, but it is something that held me in great stead. Just imagine me back here 40 years ago, sitting there in a cold sweat, wondering about how on earth I was going to go through the world, being whoever it was the world wanted me to be when I didn't have a clue who I was. What I was doing was anticipating. I was anticipating what might happen. Some people call it what-ifing. What if, what if, what if? Slowly, over many, many years, I'm not a fast learner, I'm a slow learner, with the help of some very great therapy, I learnt to give up anticipating. I don't anticipate anything. I do the next thing. Then I go on and do the thing after that. And I go on and do the thing after that too. I do them as well as I can. But I don't do them to the point where I destroy the rest of my life, slogging my guts out trying to do the next thing. I do it as well as I can, while still having the time and the energy to have fun, to socialise, to lie on the couch watching back-to-back episodes of Law and Order with a glass of rosé in hand. I recommend that. It nurtures the soul. And I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel slack, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm not anticipating. I'm totally caught up with watching Olivia Benson and whatever her latest doings are. May I recommend that to you? Just stop anticipating. Live in the present. And don't worry about what anyone else thinks of you. You're fine, just the way you are. Thank you very much.
From ancient history review to the Gruen transfer and all of that exciting journey in between. Jane, thank you for joining us today and for sharing those pearls of wisdom for our graduating class and for reminding them to be just them. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in thanking Jane Curran. As Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees on those who have complied with the university's requirements for such awards. But before I do so, I need to check a couple of things. And that's because apparently if I confer a degree upon you and you're not eligible for it, I can't take it off you. So tell me, did you go to every class, submit every assignment on time, turn up late at all? No? Right, well, let me just double check. I'm going to call on our registrar, Miss Gail Wright, to formally certify that you've done everything you need to do. Miss White.
Deputy Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
In the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, I admit each of you present and those absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations, graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving them a round of applause.
Deputy Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Would you please be seated? I now call on Professor Martina Mollering, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates. Professor Mollering.
Deputy Chancellor, students and staff in this faculty work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems. They identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on the skills and knowledge they will need to understand the world, past, present, and future. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous studies, international studies, law, media, music, communication and cultural studies, modern history, politics and international relations, philosophy, sociology, and security studies and criminology. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Science. Elia Samuel Genetsakis. Alexander William Lawless. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Ancient History. Elizabeth Bryce. Emily Kelly Cheeseman. Barry Robert Curry. Eleonora Ferretti. Sean Harrison, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Samantha Ruby Mills. Rhiannon Pascoe. Catherine Laura Sheed. Laura Jane Skillicorn. Grace N. Toomer. Samuel Henrik Wessels, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Archaeology. Victoria Cottle. Hannah Elizabeth Napier Flood. Ava N. Louise Hook. Dylan Multari. Catherine Helen Munro. Isabella Margaret Oldfield. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Jasmine May Aird. Bonnie Martha Jane Arabi. Hannah Armstrong. Evan Atkinson. Kirsten Baker. John Graham Barrett. Emma Jean Bolton. Anna Margaret Bosman. Jane Louise Bradshaw. Lisa Robin Buckle. Dylan Joseph Bodie Bowles. Diane Chalino. Andrew George Chiji. Who we will be seeing shortly. In the meantime, it's Timothy Tang. And here we have Andrew George Chiji. Candice Ann Chidiak. Jessica Nina Kumb. Lisa Marie Constable. Rosaline May Cooney. Patricia Yolanda Dean. Elias Dokos. Alexei Feofilov. José Miguel Garcia Gocco. Sheridan Goldie. Rosalie Beth Haywood. Anneliese Hoffmann. Alexandra Isaac. Alexander Heath Jackson. Scarlett May Johnson. Riley Ann Keir. Alexander James Kelly. Ilana Louise Josephine Lamont. Emma Leyland. Anne Elizabeth Long. Sophia Adele Mackenzie. Jessica Emily Menklow. Kelvin Martinez. Vanessa Morby. Emma Jane McKinnon. Anne-Marie Newman. Olivia Newsom. Liberty Nichols. Zachariah Jonathan Nix. Matthew Nixon. Isabel Orr. Eloise Plant. Melody Renault. Grace Amelia Rowley. Georgia Rutherford. Wing Lam So. Michael Allen Sturtridge. Rachel Sullivan. Emma Sutas. Andrew Lee Taylor. Jessica Claire Thixton. Cassandra Thompson. Laura Treglon. Rachel Taryn Vaughan. Shannon Lee Walter. Dylan Andrew Whitlock. Alexis Worthing. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Philosophy, Kiara Ellen Stevenson. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Ancient History, Bianca Lee Rowley. David Lloyd White. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Arts. Trudy N. Adamson. Maureen Leslie Ayres. Jacqueline N. Brown. Frances Elizabeth Doyle. Laura Gurgis. Deborah Jane Ritchie. Suzanne Gay Strong. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Children's Literature. Erin Tessa Hill. Caitlin Marie Orr. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Creative Writing. Sarah Emily Cadillo Campbell. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Indigenous Education. Jennifer N. Engel, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research with Distinction and the University Medal for Philosophy, Andrew McEwen Bain. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research and the University Medal for English, Meryl N. Howie, for a thesis entitled The Power of the Literary Image, Mediating Memory and Managing Emotion in the Literary Memoirs of Virginia Woolf and Helen Garner. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research. Hannah Louise Andrews for a thesis entitled, "We Were Not Designed to Ask Questions, the Own Female Body in Posthuman Young Adult Literature." Brandon Paul Burnett for a thesis entitled Kantian Philosophy of History, Teleology, Anthropology, and Cosmopolitanism in Idea for a Universal History with a Cosmopolitan Aim, 1784. Joanne Elizabeth Court for a thesis entitled From Aphrodite to Isis of the Sea, Connecting Conceptions of a Saving Sea Goddess. Coral Hannah Hartwig for a thesis entitled Tel Azekah and its surroundings based on the early Bronze Age pottery, 2012 to 2016. Sophie Kate Harris for a thesis entitled Metaphors They Lived By in Ancient Egypt, analyzing the prophecy of Nefertiti and the admonitions of Ipuwer. June Ishtar Yako for a thesis entitled Deportations, an inquest into the mass movements of conquered peoples in the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Elizabeth Mary King for a thesis entitled Created for Our Convenience, Human Use of Animals in the Novels of Anne Bronte. Rachel Ann Mansfield for a thesis entitled Those Striking Severance, a comparative study of the minting practices of Antipatris and Nicopolis. Jane Susan Milliken for a thesis entitled I Heard It on the Grapevine, an examination of 4 texts in Papyrus Anastasia 4 that contained references to wine. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Bruce Christopher Barnes for a thesis entitled Personhood Within Coptic Hagiography, Strategies of Characterization and Rhetoric. Dr. Hyang Gwen Shue for a thesis entitled Charity and the Letters of Barsanuphius and John of Gaza. Dr. Lee Dayton for a thesis entitled Australia's Quest for the Bionic Eye, Barriers to Innovation. Dr. Kelly Hamilton for a thesis entitled Feeling Together, Can There Be Group Emotion? Dr. William Hebblewhite for a thesis entitled The Emancipation Paradox, a critical study of the Kantian tradition in political philosophy. Dr. Lynn Marie Kitson for a thesis entitled The Rhetorical Strategies of the First Chapter of 1 Timothy, the relationship of the first chapter to the purpose of the letter. Dr. Milena Koyman for a thesis entitled Living Betwixt and Between, a study of the title Elder of the Porch, Shem Suhaid, and its holders, a prosopographical approach. Dr. Michelle Sarah-Mears for a thesis entitled Fish and Fishing in Old Kingdom Tomb Wall Scenes, a comparative analysis of fish and fishing-related scenes from the Memphite and provincial regions. Dr. Sasha Armin Molitoris for a thesis entitled Privacy in Panopticon 2.0, Applying Kant's Formula of Humanity to Internet Privacy. Dr. Hee-Young-Yu Park for a thesis entitled The Translation of Children's Literature from English to Korean, with particular reference to marked theme, conceptual metaphor, and metonymy in Anna Feenberg's Tashi series. Dr. Rory James Wilson Shiner for a thesis entitled Reading the New Testament in Australia, an historical account of the origins, development, and influence of D.W.B. Robinson's biblical scholarship. Dr. Glenise Dale West for a thesis entitled The Tekenu and Ancient Egyptian Funerary Ritual. I present a graduate from the Faculty of Business and Economics admitted to the degree of Master of Business Administration, Gregory Nicholas Kearney. Deputy Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Deputy Chancellor, I call on Mrs. Meryl Howie, who has graduated today with a Master of Research, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Meryl.
Deputy Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests. It is a very great privilege to be giving this morning's graduate address. First and foremost, I congratulate my fellow graduates on the attainment of an arts degree in your varied disciplines and levels of study. The years of hard work and dedication have finally come to fruition, and it's wonderful to be celebrating this formal acknowledgement of such an important achievement. At the same age as many of you are now, I was living a life far removed from the world of scholarly learning. One of the unfortunate effects of growing up in an unsupportive domestic environment, which neither encouraged nor valued female intellectual endeavour, was that I also became conditioned to believe that I was incapable of successfully undertaking tertiary study, and that universities were for those far more intellectually able than I could ever be. During the decades in which I instead pursued a physically demanding life as an equestrian trainer and instructor, I did, however, continue my lifelong passion for reading. A voracious consumer of almost any genre, from classic text to pulp fiction, my literary appetite was insatiable if somewhat undiscerning. Eventually, having benefited from professional psychological guidance and the unfailing support of my husband, I became sufficiently emboldened to consider studying literature at a tertiary level. Anxious, excited, and acutely self-conscious of my age, the memories of my first visit to Macquarie on the 2009 Open Day revolve around three clear perceptions: encouragement, inspiration, and challenge. Warmly greeted by student volunteers and academic staff, none of whom were, of course, the least concerned with anyone's age, I was encouraged to pursue Macquarie's Pathway program, specifically designed for people like me with no appropriate entry qualifications. During a presentation on marking structures and course requirements, one lecturer provided lasting inspiration when informing us that it was by no means impossible to achieve high grades throughout the entire course of a degree, whilst also making abundantly clear the inherent challenge of university-level education. Those initial perceptions of encouragement, inspiration and challenge were to profoundly shape my academic journey at this university, particularly in the Department of English. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to my dedicated and deeply knowledgeable tutors and lecturers, and most especially to the Head of Department, Professor Antonina Harbus, to Dr. Lee O'Brien and to Dr. Stephanie Rousseau. Encouraging students to articulate diverse viewpoints, creating inspirational lectures and collaborative seminar discussions, and continually challenging us to produce more informed and thoughtful verbal and written responses, Macquarie's English tutors expertly guide the disciplining of mental powers and the harnessing of unruly imaginations in the ongoing development of our analytical skills. Students thereby become equipped with an extensive literary toolbox, facilitating effective critical engagements with widely divergent narrative representations, from the complex critiques of 19th century culture, class and domestic politics in Dickens' Bleak House, to the ingenious modernist representations of interiority in Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, to the more contemporary genre-bending blurring of boundaries among fact, fiction and emotional truths in Garner's True Stories. The acquiring of analytic literary knowledge also serves highly practical functions. For example, an increased awareness of how authors may subtly position and influence their readers informs our reading of all prose, from the literary canon to cookbooks, from billboards to blogs, thereby constituting invaluable assets in our daily professional and personal negotiations with the written word. Studying English at Macquarie has also enabled me to appreciate the unique contribution that literature can offer to science as well as to the arts, in terms of the first-hand insights literary narratives provide into the lived experience and astonishing capacities of the human mind. In concluding, I would like firstly to stress to you the importance of never, ever allowing anyone to define you or set limits on your capabilities. And secondly, to remind you that the cultivation of an educated mind and a firm sense of purpose bring untold advantages, both to ourselves and to the professional, social and personal communities that benefit overtly and implicitly from others' education. So please remember and acknowledge the academic staff, family and friends who have taught us the value of intellectual attainment and the importance of scholarly knowledge, and who have generously supported us professionally and personally in our pursuit of these endeavours. They have afforded us a priceless and precious gift. Once again, congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Meryl, for reminding us that universities are places of learning and inquiry and places to pursue your passion. We're very glad you chose to pursue your passion here. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in thanking Meryl for sharing her journey here at Macquarie. Ladies and gentlemen, that wonderful voice belongs to Miss Angela Brewer, who graces us with her presence at these ceremonies and helps make these a very special event. I must say I'm very thrilled that she's here today because the Chancellor, if Angela's not available, the Chancellor volunteers to sing for us and he's tone deaf. So we're very happy that Angela comes here day in and day out. Now, would you like to hear her again? Yes? Well, all you have to do, sign up for another degree, come back here again in a few years, you'll be right. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in thanking Angela Brewer for that wonderful performance. I would also like to thank our musicians on the organ, Dr. James Forsyth. And on the trumpet, Miss Melanie McLaughlin. And can I also take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the representatives from our alumni community, many of whom come to these graduation ceremonies day in and day out to help make sure they're quite a community event and that we have everybody where we need to. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking them. Graduates, this ceremony marks one stage of your relationship, or the end of one stage of your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, and for the rest of your lives, you are part of that bigger Macquarie family, our alumni, and part of a network of more than 180,000 students spanning the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, a program focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to keep in touch and keep you engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please make sure you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, as some of you are, to attend alumni events, use our aquatic or fitness facilities, or simply, if the mood takes you, to enjoy a picnic by the lake. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I encourage you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, to set ambitious goals for yourselves and to continue the hard work that has already brought you so far. I urge you to always exercise sound judgment and be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned not only for your own benefit, but for the betterment of the whole community. Believe it or not, each and every one of you can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it, because almost everything you do in your homes, in your workplaces, in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the decades, indeed through the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life, a great career, or a great achievement. And in all you do, I ask you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. And remember, wherever you go, go with all your heart. I hope you will also always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom are here with you, helping you celebrate today. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. First, I'd like our newest graduates to please stand. Now, if you can place your degrees on the seats behind you, because you're going to need your hands. I'd like you to turn around and face your family and friends and give them a mighty round of applause. Now you can turn around now, but don't sit down just yet. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic community, and many of whom have helped you on your journey here at Macquarie. Please join me in thanking them. Please be seated, but just for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly I will lead the official party out, and it will be my great honour to invite our newest graduates and their family and friends to join us for refreshments at the Marquee. I now invite everyone to stand, and please remain standing until the last graduate has processed out. Graduates, I wish you the very best for your futures and conclude with the words of an old Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Congratulations, graduates, and good luck.